So I'm going to say something right now, and I don't want you to take it the wrong way, but you're horrible at following up. I'm just going to let that sink in. And the only reason I say that is not because I want to say it, but because in a recent survey we did with several thousand mortgage and real estate professionals, they all said that they wish they had done a better job following up during their career. And what's interesting to me is right behind that was another survey. We have the 30th anniversary of Sales Mastery coming up, and we're talking about really, what would you like to hear from us this year at Mastery? And one of the top rated responses was how to build great partnerships. And so if you're a mortgage professional or a real estate professional and you're watching this right now, I'm going to give you two different kind of ideas, both supported by a step-by-step process on how you can engage partnerships that last forever. I believe very, very clearly that we don't understand this concept to the degree that we should and probably need to. And why do I say that? Because transactions will make you a living, but relationships will make you a fortune. When I was a loan originator, my real estate agents and I were able to help just under 6,000 people with our teams buy real estate in a decade. And during that time, I had 13 real estate partners. I was on a podcast with somebody recently, and they said, how many real estate agents did you have to make that kind of volume work? I said back to the guy, I said, this is going to surprise you, but I had 13. And it was like, wow, really? You even know the number? And I said, yeah, I know the number because I turned away a lot of agents because if I had taken on any more, I would not have been able to serve the partnerships. So I learned a concept as a loan originator that I teach in our High Trust Sales Academy. It's on page 269 in this beautiful 400-page playbook on how to build the mortgage and real estate practice of your dreams. And the top of the page says partnership planning is game changing. So I ask people, I say, have you ever sat down and had a conversation with a real estate agent? Or if you're a realtor, have you ever sat down and had a conversation with, another referral type partner, like a financial planner or somebody like that? Or perhaps you've had conversations, I'm sure, with sellers and buyers. And the interesting thing is we learn stuff, right? We learn what people are looking for, at least we should. If you've downloaded the Talk Less, Sell More white paper, you know that we ask better questions that give us more information on how we can help somebody win. So I'll give you just an example of a mortgage professional who has approached a real estate agent. They've had a great high trust interview together, and the interview has come to the end. And the mortgage professional says this. So based on what I've proposed, do you feel we have a basis for doing business together? Hopefully that agent says yes. I've really enjoyed this conversation. Very unique, different than most lenders have ever engaged with me on. I look forward to that. To which the mortgage professional says, awesome. Okay, I'll follow up with you next week and I'll see what's going on. And that's about it, right? And so they leave the appointment, and I'm sure this has happened to you if you're in the mortgage side of buying and acquiring real estate. I'm sure that like a week later, without a referral, you start to think, she or he said they wanted to do business with me. I wonder why I haven't gotten a referral yet. Okay, and then maybe 2 weeks come and go, and there's still no referral. And what ends up happening to most people is the longer the referrals don't come, the more call reluctance you end up developing, which then actually puts you in the reverse modality because the longer you wait, the more you talk to yourself about what is not happening instead of owning that before you ever left that first appointment, you should have done something uniquely different. What is that thing? Okay. So what we tell people is whenever you have an appointment, you may not leave the appointment without scheduling the next action, not hearing that there's a next action, not trusting that maybe they'll honor their word and refer somebody to me. There's nothing wrong with that. But listen to this, only 1 out of 10 mortgage professionals actually schedule the next strategic activity. So if I don't have that scheduled, then I'm probably not going to get the same kind of follow up and the same kind of traction I need to get. So here's what we teach people. We teach people that right then and there, when somebody says yes, what you're going to say is, that is awesome. To make sure we get this relationship off to the right start, what I would like to do is I'd like to schedule a 15-minute weekly meeting for the next 10 to 12 weeks, get it on our calendar so we can have a check-in. Would you be open to that? And hopefully you've done a good job. They're going to say, absolutely. Because this follow-up now is baked in, right? So what I do is I pull my phone out, and I can literally pull my phone out, and I can, like, if I have a time block for, partner development, whatever day it is, it doesn't matter. But just for illustration purposes, let's say it's Thursday. You can say I do partner sessions every Thursday. And right now it looks like I have a 12 o'clock slot, a 2 o'clock, and a 2:45. Do any of those work for you on Thursday? Pretty consistent, maybe 10-minute meetings, just to make sure we get this off to the right start. And they're going to say yes. So I send them the invite right there in the meeting, and they accept the invite right there in the meeting. Now, what have I just done? I have scheduled 12 weeks of follow-up with that particular person who said, I love the meeting. I'll give you my next borrower. I love the meeting. I'll look forward to doing business together. That is okay, but it's not great, because we do know that what doesn't get scheduled is likely not to get done. And if you're understanding the value of a partnership with a realtor, if you're understanding the value of a partnership with a builder or any business, follow-up is the name of the game. If you don't follow up with people, they're not going to follow through with you. It's that straightforward. And so the guys and gals that make the most money, that have the most significant impact, that change lives the most consistently and regularly, are kings and queens of follow-up. They own follow-up. They realize that I can do everything to get somebody to yes, but if I don't have a follow-up plan, I'm likely to not get any activity from them. So now watch this. So I set that 12 weeks with a 24-hour reminder. And so now the agent or the builder or whomever is getting reminded, and then a 15-minute reminder. And so they're going to get reminded twice. Now, if you don't like that, dump the 24-hour one and use the 15, or use the 24 and dump the 15, whatever you want to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to get on the phone, and there's 3 questions I'm going to ask. Okay, 2 are to get the business going. Question number 1 is, who have you met in the last 7 to 14 days that you would like to sell real estate to, but you're not sure they're going to use you? Okay. The first time I talked to a mortgage professional about this idea, he went out and talked to his number 1 real estate agent, but instead of 7 days, he tried 30 days. And as he tells the story, the real estate agent, when she thought about all the activity and looked at the open houses and that kind of stuff, there was 132 names on that list. So my friend Jim called every single one of those people on the list and cross-sold his real estate agent, Mary, as a realtor that these people could trust to sell or purchase, or both, a real estate agent that had years of experience and therefore wisdom to coach and advise. And out of that entire 132, I believe Mary got in excess of 30 contracts. And so I want you to be thinking about that kind of idea. Here's the other idea, because we do know that people need to, when in most markets they're making offers, we want their offers to rise to the top. We want their time spent looking for homes to be refined and focused. The 80-20 rule says help your realtors not show 10 homes, to try and get a contract, but to show 2 to get a contract, because that's the 80-20 rule in process, right? So here's the second question. Write it down. Who do you plan on showing property to in the next, and again, you can do 7 days, 14 days, whatever. Who do you plan on showing property to in the next 7 days that I've not had a consultation with to help you determine their short and long-term goals and their actual purchasing power in the marketplace? So what this particular question does is it gets you any buyer that doesn't have a lender that they've met with. It gets you any buyer that maybe knows a lender, but you haven't had a conversation with, or it gets you any buyer that's pre-approved with another lender to which you can have a high trust interview with that borrower, and you could either win the business or you could offer a second opinion. Both are great, right? So those two questions feed the activity. Now listen to this on the mortgage side. You need 10 realtors referring 2 buyers to you a week each, and you'll have 80 buyer consultations in a month. And out of 80 buyer consultations, if you convert 25 to TRID-triggered applications that go into processing, and 9 out of every 10 loans at that point get approved and closed, okay, right there you're funding just shy of 200 loans a year, assuming you take 2 months off. Assuming you take 2 months off. But listen to this. Listen to the big vibe here. So the big vibe is, what if I get the conversion to 75%? Well, now I'm involved in 540 transactions. So it's about follow-up. It's clearly about follow-up. Now, in addition to those 2 questions, here's a pack of questions, 3 things. During that same call, I'm going to say, provided you have business going, at this point in our relationship, how can we build efficiency together? And it's observational. What do they observe about you and your team? What do you observe about them and their team? How can you tighten that up and make it even better? Second question. How can we build productivity together? My ideas for you, your ideas for me. And that is, again, based on the 6 questions that are found in the Talk Less, Sell More white paper that you can get at toddduncan.com. Free of charge, just download it if you haven't seen it. 6 question categories. And then the third thing is, do you have any needs at this point that I'm not aware of, or that you feel I need to meet better than I am? And that is a question that creates super glue in the partnership. Because here's the reason why people leave you. They leave you because of either a bad service experience, or they have needs that you're not giving them solutions to. So the smart high trust loan originator, the smart real estate agent for sellers and buyers is, like, if I'm a real estate agent and a mortgage person during a transaction, how are we doing for you at this point in the journey? 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, 7 days prior to close, and then 7 days after close. How did we do? How are we doing, right? If you don't get input about what needs they have, or you don't get affirmation that their needs are getting met, then you're not creating the super glue that we're talking about. So how can we be more efficient? How can we generate more productivity? And what needs do you have that I'm not meeting? Take those 3, which is a one-step solution, and then those 2 questions. And I got to tell you right now, your partnerships are going to go off the roof, and you're going to get more buyer referrals. If you're a realtor, you're going to get more seller and buyer referrals than you ever dreamed possible. But partnerships require effort. You can't have a partnership if you just are on cruise control. So remember, if you don't follow up with them, they're not going to follow through with you.